Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try to find the silver linings in even the worst of films. Tonight, I just got done watching the newest film, Fight or Flight, starring Josh Hartnett. In a lot of ways, this movie plays a lot like the Bullet Train movie directed by David Leitch starring Brad Pitt, where Josh Hartnett is essentially this guy with a very specific set of skills. He used to work for the government, and when our government finds out that there is a person boarding a plane leaving Bangkok and heading to San Francisco, they need protection because there is a hit out on their head for something they've done worth $10 million. And this person needs protection during the entire 8-hour flight. So they asked Josh Hartnett to do it. And once he's on this plane, he has to protect this person from, like I said, every single assassin that also boards it trying to get their payday. Whereas, and that's essentially the same exact script for Bullet Train, where Brad Pitt has to go onto this train and protect this person from a bunch of assassins trying to kill them. But the thing that differentiates the two movies is, on one hand, Bullet Train is way more stylish in terms of the script aspect of it. Brad Pitt gets on this train and every single person that he has to fight is very unique. It's almost like a Quentin Tarantino character where they have so much personality and they all are so much different than every other assassin that Brad Pitt has to fight. You have Bad Bunny, who plays the wolf character who tries to kill Brad Pitt with a bunch of knives. You have Brian Tyree Henry and Aaron Taylor-Joy, who are best friends and also very deadly assassins and are very funny trying to kill Brad Pitt. You have Zazie Beetz and on and on and on, and you have so many different eclectic characters, whereas in here, on Fight or Flight, all of the assassins outside of maybe the first one that they gave a little bit more to do are pretty much just mindless enemies that Josh Hartnett has to kill to protect this person. Bullet Train was also a lot more stylish in its set design, where it was very pretty neon colors. Everything looked and felt very retro 1980s. The soundtrack was stellar, which is a given because David Leitch is an A-list director, so he gets the budgets to get music like that. Whereas in Fight or Flight was definitely a much more smaller budgeted film, so the music that's in it was nowhere near as good as Bullet Train, but it's also not going for that 80s aesthetic that Bullet Train was going for. Here, what they do to differentiate itself from Bullet Train is they lean into the R-rated violence. Bullet Train, I'm pretty sure, was R-rated, but the violence was always kind of PG-13 to me, and although the fight scenes were a lot of fun in Bullet Train, Brad Pitt only really fights like 5 or 6 people in the entirety of the film. It's a lot more grounded in terms of like the fight scenes, where it's always like a one-on-one match, Brad Pitt versus one person, and although they're fun, it never gets to the level of violence that Fight or Flight does, where they're like, okay, we don't have a lot of money to get A-list actors, so let's just pay 400 stunt doubles to come on and fight him. And where Fight or Flight lacks in terms of set design with the cool 80s aesthetic neon lights, it delivers on super gory, bloody, violent battles with Josh Hartnett, where he's not just fighting 1 or 2 dudes at a time. There are scenes where he's going through this plane and he's fighting like 6, 7, 8 dudes at a time. This movie is much more in line with the violence that you would get in a John Wick, but also way more bloody. Almost like if Quentin Tarantino directed a John Wick film. That's kind of what this is. This is a very, very violent movie, which you don't get a sense of in the trailer. In the trailer, it looks like just like a funny R-rated action beat 'em up on a plane, but there's like a scene where Josh Hartnett is cutting through dudes with a chainsaw, and there is like pounds of blood just squirting all over the place. People are getting drenched in blood. It is very, very bloody, and because of that, it made up for the things that it was missing in this homage to Bullet Train. The fight scenes in this movie were far more fun to watch than the fight scenes in Bullet Train. Whereas in Bullet Train, like I said, the fight scenes were fun to watch, but even when they're having a one-on-one fight scene between like Aaron Taylor and Brad Pitt, the fighting is almost comical, where Brad Pitt's like making mistakes, and they want you to laugh at the fact that he's kind of a buffoon and kind of stumbling into success, almost like a Captain Jack Sparrow, where like he falls into success on accident. Brad Pitt was successful because he found a laptop that he could use to hit in the side of his face. He is successful because the person that's trying to kill him tripped and stabbed themselves. And they played the action more comical.
You're alive the way you ruin mine.
Dude, I don't even know you!
Whereas in here, in Fight or Flight, Josh Hartnett is a formidable opponent. He is literally killing people with his bare hands left and right, not even blinking. The fight scenes were just way more entertaining in this movie, which is a good thing because everything else about it was kind of weak. From a story aspect, it's nothing you haven't seen before. Like I said, you literally seen the exact same story in Bullet Train. They also try to do something here where they make the person that he's trying to protect seem a little too endearing. They want you to care about them. You don't. they don't do a good job with painting a picture of why you should care about them. They try to do something and pull at the heartstrings towards the end when you find out what they did and why it caused so many people to want to kill them with a $10 million bounty. But it's too little too late. You don't have enough time to really get to know this character as a person or really care about them. And really at the end of the day, I just wanted to show up and watch an hour-and-a-half long movie of Josh Hartnett protecting this person and killing a bunch of guys. You didn't need to try and inject all this heart into it. It's not that kind of movie. I respect the fact that they wanted to kind of elevate this genre a little bit and make it a little bit more meaningful, so you have like that 1-2 gut punch at the end, but it was kind of lazy writing, so you don't really get it. It's almost eye-rolling, if anything. It's like the most easy way to pull out our heartstrings, and this isn't what it is, but almost like killing a dog, where like, of course you're gonna get on board with them doing the things that they did because everyone loves dogs. It's kind of like that, where they introduce this thing that's so horrific that of course you're gonna get on board, but again, it just felt lazy. This movie just didn't need it. Look at a movie like The Raid. The entirety of that absolute masterpiece of a kung fu film is this dude is in a high-rise building that's locked from the ground up, and he has to fight bad guys on his way to the top, where he's gonna fight the main boss and get out. That's it. They didn't have to inject all this heart in there. There wasn't twists and turns, and it was still just a masterpiece because the core audience showing up to see that movie wanted to just see great action, and you got that for the entirety of the film. This movie didn't need to try and pull at our heartstrings, so at the end of the day, the music's not as good as Bullet Train. They don't have nearly as much A-list actors in it as cameos to show up and go, oh my god, it's that actor and that actor. Really, this is Josh Hartnett's movie. He's the one A-list actor in it. Everybody else is just mindless bad guys that he has to kill, and at the end of the day, I had a really fun time watching it because 90% of this movie is just watching Josh Hartnett run through a plane of people and kill them in increasingly gory, brutal, and very unique ways. The combat was top-notch here. The direction of the combat was top-notch. You didn't have no bullshit shaky cam. You were able to see everything play out beautifully, and because it delivers that in spades, I'm a little forgiving on the fact that the story was just a blatant ripoff of Bullet Train, and the music wasn't that good, and a lot of the dialogue and story beats were kind of corny. I wanted to go in and watch Josh Hartnett kill people, and that's exactly what I got. So if that's what you're looking for, if you liked Bullet Train and you just want to see a harder R-rated version of that with a little bit less comedy, this is going to deliver for you. If you want to see Quentin Tarantino levels of blood, you're going to get it. There's blood galore in this film. And if you're a fan of Josh Hartnett, this is a great return to form for him. It's amazing because he went a good decade without acting. He kind of just took a break from acting, and then he came back in swinging in Oppenheimer. Then he was in M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, which wasn't a great movie, but he was great in it. And now he's in a badass action kung fu movie, which I don't think I've ever seen him in outside of maybe like an indie project here or there. And he is great as an action hero, and it further solidifies the fact that I think he would make a great Batman in James Gunn's DCU. And the reason why I say that is because he was almost Batman for Christopher Nolan, but wound up turning it down because he thought it would be bad for his career. Maybe now's the time for a comeback for him with that same character, and this movie just proves that he has the action chops to do it. And he does have a few funny moments in this film where he does have some action hero one-liners, and it made me chuckle. So yeah, I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10. It sets out to deliver a really crowd-pleasing, violent action film, and it delivers that. It just reaches a little too far, but I'm not gonna fault it too much for that. If you like an action movie, check it out this weekend. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you gonna check this movie out? Did you even know it was a thing? And has my review given you a reason to go to see it this weekend? If it has, I'd love to talk about it, and if you've seen it already, I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's talk about it in the comments down below, guys, and as always, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you next time.